Not enough magic items.
Not enough magic items? Hello, everybody, and welcome to DM Writer's Room, a show where we demystify the DMing process by coming up with monsters, magic items, and all kinds of things live. But today, we're on a time crunch. One of us, and if you look at the three cameras, you might be able to detect which of the three of us isn't at their normal setup, and in fact looks like they're in some kind of abandoned house.
A cowl of darkness.
One of us is
upon me.
shrouded and sitting with the fingers steepled and ready for chaos. So, today we're going to be doing one page, one shot, 1 hour. One of our other shows. This is our fastest paced. We will be running from until 8:30. So this is definitely our shortest show. But normally we do pretty well for ourselves through this venue. We tighten up the time and it kind of forces us to make bolder choices faster. On that note, we have already settled on what our one-page RPG concept is for today. So last time, you might remember, if you can really pierce the veil, we had a heist game, which is the one that we ended up doing. And then we had Spencer's game, which I remember, which he's going to say in case I forgot anything. It was...
I was pulling up the stream and Stefan commented on our video.
Oh.
What was your one-page idea?
The one-page idea that I had was everyone is John,
With
but
some
I
sort
wanted
of-
to make it different.
Some sort of
Yeah.
stitching, some fixes, some cutting across the fabric. And mine was inspired by my young adoration of The Borrowers, a children's movie based on many folk tales about little people that live in the walls and steal buttons and pins and batteries and all kinds of things. So we're going to go with that as our concept, because it was the one that I was kind of adhered to there. Hello to Brambles in the chat. Hi, Brambles. So, we're going to make a one-page RPG that is about tiny folk, sort of Fae-adjacent creatures that make their way through a home and take everyday items and use them to live their lives, right? So this would be needing a battery to power all of the electricity for their entire tiny community. This would be stealing 1 cube of sugar to feed them through the entire winter. Something along those lines. There is some mundane item that is absolutely essential to the life of these borrowers, and our one-page RPG will be, let's go get the ding-dang thing. Like, let's go get whatever this item is. So number one, we have a couple of places we can start with a one-page RPG. We can start with our mechanic. We can start with what we want it to feel like to play this game, as Spencer gets increasingly villainous as he starts to look truly shadowed. Ooh, rescue coming in.
Thank you.
I believe. Now, we're all gonna
It's
wait.
just a light bulb, nothing to attach.
Keep ahead, wait, place your bets. I think the light's gonna be super blue.
I'm thinking very yellow.
Very yellow, okay?
Or
I think it won't do anything.
You think the lamp is broken?
Yes, but we'll see. It's still going in. Don't worry, guys.
Do you believe in miracles? I do. I'm so tempted.
Well,
Uh-huh.
bet goes to me.
Check the
didn't
now,
work.
Now I do want to check. Is it plugged in?
It's plugged in. That's the first thing I done did.
is it turned on now? There you go.
It's
Perfect.
It's that it's 20. All right, pro tip: point it at the wall in front of you. Bounce it off the wall.
Yeah, it's one of those.
That
It's
is-
a lamp that doesn't have a
It's
shader.
That is the brightest bulb I have ever seen in my life. That is absolutely... Your entire room has been lit by one bulb pointed at the wall.
Boom, baby.
You need to look at whatever brand of light that is. It's 20,000 lumens.
That's
It's the brightest
we'll
thing
We'll take
I've
a
ever
brand
seen.
deal.
You've completely derailed the one page, one shot with your light bulb. Oh my god. That's wild. That was wild. Alright, cool. So we want to play the Borrowers, and we want the game to feel a certain way. What do we want this game to feel like?
Whimsical.
Bright
number
light in
one.
your eyes.
There you go. Alright, whimsy.
Yeah, like blinding with its whimsy, in fact.
Tomb of... Ironically, blinding with its whimsy. The first ever deathly dungeon created on DM Writer's Room, we named the Tomb of Whimsy. To oppose the Tomb of Horrors. We made, what was the guy's name? We made, the the
Joker.
toy maker. I can't remember his name. We made
Yeah.
our Lich
Yeah.
the toy maker. We made his dungeon, and it was like
Corellon.
you fought like except we have to change it so it was like Korean or something because we couldn't name it after the Elvish god. And I remember one of the rooms was a vampire fight, but with like cardboard tombstones and like a fog machine.
Yeah.
Too silly, but I loved it. All right, cool. So we want the game to be deeply and profoundly whimsical. I would say
I think we're very good at like horror and just comedy, goof.
Yeah.
Good goof.
and I want to add.
I think that this has got to be heavier on the goof.
I was going to say my note. So Spencer's provided whimsy. I've provided in not bloody. If you your fail state is
Yes.
not falling to your death and being found the next day by the
No.
cat. We just can't do that. We can't.
The fail state is like you get distracted and go back the wrong way, and then you end up back where you started, but you're not with the rest of the party.
Or maybe
Like, it's not death.
Or maybe
it's
one of
not
the-
getting hit.
one of the people that lives in the house wakes up,
Yeah, sure.
and so you have to go hide and you don't get your thing.
Now I think that the easiest method for this is to take a tried and true system, and hack it. And I think the best one would be lasers and feelings. I think that the two stat spread idea of lasers and feelings would be really good for this. And it would be like animal versus innovation or whatever.
Okay. I that is not what I had visualized. So I guess so. What are two
Really?
traits that we associate with this kind of thing, right? So my first thought would be the typical narrative in borrowers' tales and tales of little people that live in your walls is a young, foolhardy, kind of overly whimsical character who is poised up against a salt of the earth, like well-studied, careful character. So I think that sort of coming of age style of dynamic is going to be the best one. Then I'm perfectly fine with it. Is it whimsy and invention, or like what are the opposite ends of that spectrum in our minds? I think whimsy works kind of for one of them. This like very bright-eyed, like I'm gonna make friends with the boy, like the character that gets into trouble, makes friends with the humans. This sort of really outlandish character, and then the usually like literally a dad or older brother that's like, that's not how we do things, and they have a matchstick on their back and they're like really serious.
I'm thinking like methodical.
Whimsy versus method or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do like whimsy being I gotta
Okay.
put that out there. Whimsy being one of them is very fun.
Then I will
Yeah.
request that somebody who doesn't need to have stream up, it's time to use that oldest and most golden and brilliant of DMing tools. Thesaurus. Thesaurus. Perhaps the
We
perhaps the most
have
important.
technology.
Yeah, it's just too good. So what I want is an antonym for whimsy.
We don't do antonyms very often.
We don't do antonyms.
This is
very often.
nice.
This is a rare occurrence.
Breath of fresh air.
We're gonna find
I'm
out that
pulling up
whimsy has like a
antonyms right now.
connotation that we don't know about.
It really likes showing me synonyms, and it really hates showing me antonyms. So let me. Oh, it's because
Probably
it's trying to correct for a spelling mistake.
You spelled whimsy
Show
wrong?
me the damn antonyms. No, I spelled antonym wrong.
There you
I fat fingered it.
Not like this.
Okay, synonyms are up. Synonyms are still up. Antonyms: seriousness, gravity, solemnity, sobriety, sadness, grief, sorrow, and melancholy.
Whimsy and if it wasn't such a long word, whimsy and solemnity, like whimsy and solemnness, would go really well together.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I've heard the word solemn. I've never heard solemnity.
You've never heard solemnity?
Solemnity.
Solemnity.
Whimsy
Never,
and whimsy.
never heard that
The
word.
whimsy and stoic.
Yeah, stoicism is kind of what
Can we
we're
talk
looking
about? Can
at.
we talk about how crazy it is that they just named the dad and How to Train Your Dragon stoic? Can we get it together, guys?
Yeah.
A little on the nose, isn't it?
Buzz said hello,
Hey, Buzz.
and he said He's asking what our thoughts are on making like a little nightmare. He was gonna say that earlier, but his phone died. I'm sorry, your phone died. I love Little Nightmares. I think that's an awesome game series. I'm very excited for number 3 to come out.
That'd be a great one-page RPG. Super simple mechanics too. You are just one or two. You are a small gaggle of children trying to make your way out of that like terrible haunted world. I think it would be pretty fun. But alas, we are making a game about borrowers, and we're looking for a term that is the opposite of whimsy, whimsical, lighthearted, naive.
I agree. Next time, that'd be a very fun one.
From Brambles, we've got stern.
Stern.
Stern's good.
Yeah. So it would be stern versus whimsy. I think is pretty fun.
Whimsy versus.
Also, everyone say hello to Engineer again.
Hello, Engineer.
Yeah, what up, Engineer? Welcome back.
Roll for whimsy.
We're making a one-page RPG.
Yeah.
Yes, he said DM Council will judge your Satoru Goju homebrew JJK fans. Stand trial.
Now wait a minute. Us starting a sort of like
a one shot.
present your case might be kind of a banger. That might be pretty fun. At some maybe that'll be one of our bits in the distant future. Is like you can serve us up your what's it called? Serve us up your fucking Dragon's Den pitch. Let's see what happens.
Do Shark Tank.
Shark Tank. Why did I say
yeah,
the
I
name
think
of the
that
Canadian
worked.
show? How did that happen?
That's what I'm saying.
All right, cool. So roll for whimsy,
we
roll
got
for
it.
sternness. I think actually works. When I was thinking about
Yeah,
them
that
one
feels
to
good.
one, it didn't work as well in my head. I was like whimsy, sternness. Felt a little too different. But thinking about it as roll for whimsy, roll for sternness, I think I like better. So we have these two different kinds of characters. We have like the whimsical and we have like the kind of stern. In Lasers and Feelings, is there any sort of class structure do you know of, or in games? We don't play a lot of games like that, like Honey Heist, that kind of genre.
There are roles. There's doctor,
I like roles.
envoy, engineer, explorer, pilot, scientist, or soldier. Those are the classes offered.
Okay, so
and then you choose a number on that sliding scale.
is there 6, 8, 10, 12?
It's a number between 2 and 5, so it's a selection.
Oh, I just
Instead
meant
of
how many options are on the list.
like a roll or a dice roll. Options for the
rolls.
stat array, there isn't an option. Oh, for the rolls, I see what you mean. I think it's d6. I think it's 2d6.
Okay. So
When you
there's-
do something risky, roll 1d6.
Okay, cool. And so how many
Okay.
kind of like character classes are there for that game? Is there like is it a dice number?
It's not a dice number. I think it's 5.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. There's actually 7,
Ooh.
And then
which is still not a dice number.
and so it's a 2d6 system, and then each group. So I'm guessing each roll starts with a certain score and just sort of moves from there.
So when you do something, you can roll 1d6, and then you add plus 1 die if you're prepared, add 1 die if you're an expert, and then roll your dice and compare each die result to your number. So if you roll a 2 successful die, you do it well, you succeed. If none of your dice succeed, it goes wrong, the GM says it went wrong. If you roll 3, you get a critical success. 3 plus.
Great. Cool. And so does anything tell you where to start on the path between whimsy and sternness?
It does not.
Okay.
It looks like it is purely your choice.
Okay. And is the consequence, is the fail state going too far, and is it getting all the way to the end? Like, does a character drop out when they reach full sternness or full whimsy?
I don't think so. I think it's just that you become increasingly poor at the other side. So if you're really good at lasers, you're not really good at feelings.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to pull this up. So give me 2 seconds
Yeah.
while I do that. Just because I'm trying to
You're good.
understand how the game functions, and I'm having a little bit of trouble seeing just sort of seeing in my mind's eye, I suppose, like how it really works. So
It's very light on actual instruction and mechanic.
yeah. So it's okay. So here we go. We've got some stuff here. So choose a style. So there's styles. So it's choose a style, choose a role. I think that sounds great. Choose your number from 2 to 5. A high number means you're better at lasers, and a lower number means you're better at feelings. So that's just step 3, making your character. Number 4, give them a cool space adventure name naturally. Player goals, character goals, all that, John. Come up with something that you want, come up with something they want. And then you make your ship. So I think we'll probably end up making a village. Right? We'll probably end up making your kind of hidey hole. And then we have our sort of dice rolling system there. If you're using lasers, you try to roll under the number. If you're trying to use feelings, you try to roll over the number. And so where that number is, just decide your ability to like succeed on either of those. I think that works. And if you roll exactly, you have laser feelings, you gain special insight. So you gain whimsy and sternness. You are clear and yet having fun. You're like the best friend at a party you could ever had. Whimsical yet stern. I think that works pretty well as well. All right, cool. Call for a roll in situations. Failures push the action forward. Situation always changes after a roll for good or ill. And it really doesn't sound like there is any fail state. You just always win when you play lasers and feelings?
I think it's keeper discretion. You do it until you get blown up or you win, and it kind of goes by vibe.
Yeah, it's not. Who would ever make it one-page RPG that just ends that way? Who would ever do that? All right, cool. So we've nailed our lasers feelings sort of line here. It's whimsy and sternness. I think that's great. So now we have style and we have roles to think about next. So which of those two do we think we want to tackle next? Do we have any styles in mind for like what this looks like, or would we be better off starting with like the roles, the really central kind of characters of our adventure here?
So I think that I would pull back a little bit from the lasers and feelings here and jump into sort of a honey heist style where it's choosing your species. It's like, are you a mouse? Are you I don't know, any other list of animal creatures. A hamster, anything small and furry. So are you a gecko? Yeah,
I'm totally down for that. In the borrowers, they are tiny people. They are people that are about that tall.
I see. Oh.
I do like them.
I don't know anything about the borrower.
So the borrowers are, it's basically like a Fae equivalent, and it's just they are people that stand about that tall. And when you lose a sock or you lose a battery or you can't find a button, it is because a borrower needed it to be the wheel on their boat, or to power all of the stuff in their house, or to be one match that would light their fire for the entire winter. Like that is how the borrowers function. And they're just little people. Now I do think what I like much better is one option is you are a borrower. You are a person. And another option being like you are a mouse, you are a cockroach, I think is extremely funny. And I think adds a lot more visual interest. It's not just you're a small family that lives in the walls. It's like we're 3 borrowers and a cockroach. I did mainly just because I immediately feel the deep urge to, in this very silly, whimsical game, play a maxed out sternness cockroach with like a little cigarette with like one strand of tobacco in it, who's like, you don't know what it was like in the great fumigation of '94. There was bodies all over the place. It's like the first character that came to my mind. It's just like Vietnam vet cockroach is just instant. All right, so cool. I like that. So one of our roles options is the kind of classic borrower. Is it borrower and then just bug? Is it just bug?
Borrow and bug, yeah. I think borrower, bug.
They don't all need to be
bees. Nice if there was another B word for like a furry critter. It's a furry. No, it'd be like critter.
Critter. You are exactly, critter. You are a mouse. You are a squirrel. You are a lovable soft friend that has found its way into the wall. So, borrower, bug, critter. What are some other some things that really belong in the genre here? How magical are we going? Can you be an action figure that's come to life?
I was going to say toy is the next option, is you're a toy. I think that's fine.
So we have,
because you know what I would pick? I'd pick a wind up toy. So one of the borrowers has to wind me up and I don't have to go and do whatever I had to do.
It's pretty good. All right, so borrower, bug, critter, toy. Can we come up with 2 or 3 more?
What about like little elements, like little sprite
Brambles
made
has hit
of
us
fire?
with the Bewitched, implying that one of these people has been shrunk down for their crimes. Which is good.
When you said
maybe a
Bewitched-
little dark for the tone of the game.
When you said Bewitched, I was thinking it was still a big person that just constantly gives them stuff.
Okay, so here's my question. Are we doing any, like, counters? Because these are kind of our roles, right? So I kind of like borrower, bug, critter, toy. Oh, wait a minute. Do we need to take a step back? Have we made styles?
I think we kind of have made styles here.
I think we've made styles. I think we whiffed this. Well, we didn't. We just started working on a different section.
And I think that four is good. And we should jump to the next with the 4. Because there's a die for that.
And I also think you definitely don't need more than borrower, bug, critter, and toy. I mean, that's everything I can imagine. The next thought I was going to have is that we should make, like, some counter groups. So if the borrower was a role, I was thinking we should have a taker. Like a pixie, like kind of a nasty, like a little bit of a more nefarious kind of addition to the crew. Might not be a bad idea. But let's just shuffle on. I think you're right. I think borrower, bug, critter, and toy is every option that you could sort of feasibly need.
Covers the gamut.
So let's go from 7 rolls down to 6. Let's keep it a dice number because we like people being able to random roll at a convention and play the game in 2 seconds. Right? For all those conventions that we go to, boys. So if we are...
eventually.
Pretty...
Spencer's very...
Oh, there you go.
frozen.
There you go. You were like this.
This is a bad face.
And then you went...
I was listening the whole time. I got you.
I just love the way it catches you up. It does it by
Yeah.
fast forwarding you. Okay, cool. So we have
Yeah.
borrowers, bugs, critters, and toys. Now the roles. The roles here. What are our kind of main character traits? So my first thought, right, is the guy who has like floss and like throws a grappling hook that's a fishing hook and like rappels down the wall. Who's this guy?
That's the Tinkerer. Easy money.
We name it after a British spy novel. Tinker, Tailor, Soldier, Spy. There we go.
Soldier, Spy, done.
We can't.
We got 'em all.
We can't. I would love to. There's no way. Making a spy thriller 1-page RPG with 4 classes, Tinker, Tailor, Soldier, Spy, would be freaking hysterical. Would be really good. Okay, cool. So
Write it down.
the first up is the Tinker, right? That's the person that ties the fish hook to the floss, throws it up, rappels down, sets a wind-up toy, sets it across the floor to distract the family dog. I think these things all just work. What's next? Who's after our Tinker?
There's like the brave-hearted.
All right, so we have so he said the Bravehearted. I think I know where he's going. He's going with the like big, like the what do you call it? Like the Autobot, like the Transformer that's like, I'll save them. Like I don't know what that is, right?
Yes.
So Tinker and then
I
Guardian, Defender, Protector.
I think Protector is fun.
Protector. Okay.
It's a borrower, but he's bigger than he should be.
Yeah, the
he's
biggest
like
borrower
twice
we've
the
ever
size.
seen. He's 3 inches tall. He's huge. Yeah, just giant. It's just one of those. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, cool. So Tinker, Protector. Who else do we have here? Who's someone who does sick flips? Does someone do sick flips?
Yeah, the acrobat.
I just feel like that's another one of these characters, right?
Yeah, the sure-footed. Something like
that's
that.
good. Sure-footed.
Yeah.
Now, of course, we need... we don't have to literally name it this, but we have to have, like, the loner, right? The one who lives outside the safety of your walls. You know what it's like to live under the couch? Chased every day? Like, who is this guy? Living off a cheese whiz in the bottom of a cupboard. Just like a really grim...
The Feral.
Feral's good.
The Feral's pretty good. I think the Feral's nice. Because I was thinking, like, Swiss Army knife, and that's not a name.
No, but that would be hilarious. You're a feral, and it's like a great sword. You have this Swiss Army knife that's like up. They rest their arm on while they're sitting there. It's like up to the top of their shoulder when they're standing, and they like kick out the corkscrew to do stuff. It's extremely good for the feral. So Tinker, Protector, Sure-footed, and Feral. These all feel good. 2 more would be great, or we can stop here. I think 2 more would be
How
better.
about like
though.
the barter or the tradesman or
I'm just not, so who are you
The
borrowing?
silver-tongued.
yeah.
I'm not sure what the face
I would
interaction
assume-
in a borrower game is.
I would assume that in an entire house, there's not just your clan of borrowers. You're going to run into others, people that are trying to encroach on your territory. Maybe at some point a child opens the door and you have to talk your way out of it, like, "Oh, you're just dreaming," and then you walk past them.
It's like a real Grinch.
something along those lines.
It's like
Here's
a
a
real
cookie, go
getting
back
Cindy
to
Lou
sleep.
Who to go back
Yeah.
upstairs kind of vibe. Okay,
Mhm.
cool. Yeah, it's like silver tongue, chatterbox, smooth talker.
Chatterbox is good, especially if it's like a character that has like you press the button and they talk.
Chatterbox, I think, is the right vibe of a name.
And now I do think our last one, we need somebody who is just... Is the feral our rogue?
The sure-footed was more my idea of a rogue. If
So
they're
the
really quick
sure-footed
on their
is like
feet,
our
get
stealth
in and out.
character?
Yeah.
Okay, well that was gonna be my next pitch. Was like, do we need like a slinky, like in the shadows? If the sure-footed covers that, I'm cool with that. I think that makes sense. Kind of the acrobat being like poking around the corner and like looking. I don't know. So Tinker Protector, sure-footed, feral, chatterbox. Who is missing in our party here? Like, is there somebody that we don't feel here?
There's the idea of that, like, super bright-eyed innocent.
Oh, the one who's
That-
told to stay back and doesn't stay back, and like they find him in a basket, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Well, I'm already out."
What are
And
you
they're
doing
like,
here?
"I
Yeah.
guess we've got to bring him,"
Uh-huh.
and they learn something about being an adult or whatever. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Be like the new guy, the initiate,
the rookie.
The naive.
the rookie,
The rookie, yeah.
I think naive is a little too monster of the week for me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like the rookie.
I go with the rookie.
Can I tell you something? The urge to make the horror version of this game is palpable. It's palpable. The urge to be
Yeah.
like, you hear the sound of purring. No. No!
One of you's are
Oh,
Bite
yeah.
him.
Yeah.
roll to see who it is.
The thought of the
Fight of
cockroach,
87 all over again.
like, sprinting like a war boy from Mad Max with 2 matches, like, just diving onto the cat. Witness me! It's just so good. All right, cool.
Well, the character's a half-eaten toy.
Tinker Protector, sure-footed, feral, chatterbox, and rookie, and you could be a borrower, a bug, a critter, or a toy. It's pretty good so far.
I mean, hey, good
now,
spread.
have you played this game? I've never played Lasers and Feelings. Have you played it before?
No, I've read through it a handful of times, just knowing that it's one of the more popular one-shots, or one-pages, but I've never played.
Well, I was just curious if you knew how it played too much, so we'll have to roll this up. Well, I mean, we usually play test our one-pagers, so we will play at some point soon if this thing gets off the ground here. So our next up here is we have goals, and we have create the ship in Lasers and Feelings. Now, some version maybe of like create the home base might be fun, but we're not going to spend a lot of time in our home base in a way that it seems like in Lasers and Feelings you're going to spend a lot of time in the ship. What are some goals? What's a little here? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They did 7 again. We're going to do 6 because I want it to be on a die. What are 6 things that you might be trying to do out in that big, scary, adult-sized world? I had the hiccups.
It could be like build up your supply for the winter.
Yeah, there's...
Now, how do
there's,
Now take that and just give
Yeah.
it the squeeze.
It's gather. Gather is the one-word term for that.
Gather. Can I pitch stockpile?
Looks
Yeah.
Well, because I feel like all of them are going to be gather. I feel like no
Yeah.
matter what, we're going to be trying to find something. But I feel like stockpile is get a bunch of something to make it through some other thing. I think that gather is just going to be a little bit too... I don't think all our options are going to be gather, but I think like 3 of them are going to be like, go get a thing, bring it back. See,
Yeah,
this is
that's
again,
how
like we
that
said, we
works.
wanted the game to be whimsical, and one of my thoughts was like, what if you need to go kill something? Like, what if there's a wasp's nest and you need to, like,
Revenge.
isn't it funny? I think there is just something very fun to think about. Like, there's a wasp nest in one of the walls, and the borrowers are like, if we do not live through this day,
We will do
it. We will be remembered, writ on the wall. And we see that, like, in red crayon, they've been writing the names of borrowers that died, like, on the wall. It's just, I don't know. It's just that's.
I think
always
that's
what jumps
fine.
into my mind.
The next one that I was thinking of though was so we've got stockpile. Rescue
Oh,
is
yeah,
what I
there
could
you
think
go.
of. Somebody already went out on their own. You got to go get them back.
It's funny.
feral
You've never
did
seen.
again.
I've seen a couple of movies in this milieu of like the small people that live in the walls. And it's funny. You are just, for somebody who hasn't watched them, you are just like nailing the tropes of what the missions are. It's like, go get enough of this thing to survive. It's Jimmy's caught under a glass, and they look, and like while somebody was putting dishes away, they caught one of the borrowers under a cup. Yeah, exactly. We're really hitting the tropes here pretty well. Okay. So stockpile, rescue, and then what's up? What's if stockpile is like going to get enough of something to make it? What's going to get like one hard to get to thing? Is it heist?
Heist is good. Heist is good, and I could also see like migrate, relocate.
Explore.
Yeah, where it's like our home is no longer tenable. We need to find a new promised land.
I like explore, explore, maybe scout or explorer. I like,
Scout's good.
they just finished the nursery in the house, and you are being
What's going
sent-
on in there?
Yeah, you're being sent. Great thunderous noises have reverberated through the walls for days. We must investigate. Right. All right. So I think that's scout, which I like, and I like relocate. I like settle. I like find a new home.
Yeah.
The cheese no longer comes in flow.
We have been abandoned.
The
here.
last one,
It is time to move
if we
on.
need another one, would be a diplomatic mission. This is, you've heard that there's another group somewhere, and you need to make contact with them. Like, I heard that in this southeasternly wall, there's been the sound of wing beats. So we need to figure out who it is.
Interesting. So stockpile, rescue, heist, scout, relocate, and then investigate, make contact, meet. Hashtag meet cute. What is this? What are we doing?
Meet cute. Yeah, what's a good one-word term for like it because diplomatic mission is not the vibe.
No.
Connect.
Friend.
I know for the rest of the
Befriend?
games so far, it'd be like make a friend. Like it would be the next thing to do,
Yeah.
but it just doesn't really work.
I think befriend works. I think it kind of implies what we need it to.
I like it. Okay, cool.
Merge.
Merge. You will bend the knee to the Empire. It's just, I just can't help it. My mind immediately goes to like you finding the Rat King, this like a terrible Rat King of like 20 rats stuck together that are like the Empire of the Toothed Throne will take your lands. Just Game of Thrones,
Next
but in the
week.
walls.
Next
Next week we'll make
more.
We'll make Mork borrowers next week, and we
Mork
can
borrowers?
come up with the
I
evil
would
hack.
play Mork Borrowers harder than I've ever played any fantasy RPG. Hands, I'm writing it down. It's going in the notes.
It's going in right on the Trello.
It's going. That's how you know. That's how viewers should know it's serious. If it goes in the Trello, that means it's getting done. That
That's
means
when you
it's on the
know.
to-do list. All right, cool. All right, so do we have an equivalent to a ship? I don't think we have something super good, so I'm cool with maybe just skipping it all together.
Instead, I would make another personalization, which is what is the item you carry? Is it a Swiss Army knife? Do you have a needle and thread as a sword and
what's your
like
trinket?
shield option? Yeah, exactly.
I carry a crayon to draw
What do you
so people
carry?
can see from far away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what are our 6 trinkets then? Things that you could see you when you start the game. I like this so far. You pick a style, borrower, bug, critter, or toy. You place yourself somewhere on that whimsy to sternness path. I think that that's great. And then you pick your role: Tinker, Protector, Sure-footed, Feral, Chatterbox, or Rookie. And then you pick your mission: stockpile, rescue, heist, scout, relocate, or befriend. I think this all works very well for players who aren't going to immediately make it Game of Thrones. So now we go to our equipment. We need to all shake off the desperate urge for this game to be played in a D100 Call of Cthulhu system, because the first 4 items we just said were a sword, scissors. Like, we were immediately on that beat. A Swiss Army knife. I do think some kind of like multi-tool, like Swiss Army knife, is an extremely funny option. I do like that.
Very, yes.
Multi-tool is good. I think like a napkin is funny if you use it to like jump and parachute down from places.
So there's my question: how prescriptive are we being? Am I saying you find a multi-tool, it can be used to deal with, it can give you like +1 die in situations, or is it tool? You have something useful. When it comes in handy, take +1. Like, in which case it's like tool, napkin. Like, how finicky are we trying to get?
I want this to be very non-specific. I think that everybody gets an additional die when it comes in handy. If they make that argument to the GM, they get to use it. Is it we're getting away from the cat and I jump from the shelf and I use my napkin to parachute down? Great. If it's I use the crayon and I draw a big circle and the ant walks into it and is trapped because ants can't leave drawn circles, great. Like, whatever works, but you need to come up with the item. We can make a list of like, these are some sample items, but come up with your own.
I think that's great because it gives us 1 die from you rolling, 1 die from your roll, and 1 die from your item. From like, so if you can manage to use all 3, if you can roll, take your roll into, oh no, if you can get a number on a die that's good, take your roll into account and get another die that's good, and then get your item into account and get a die that's good, you're totally in the clear here. All right, so we like it to be a little bit more broad. Napkin parachute is extremely funny, but I feel like it's kind of against the spirit of the game to say mobility tool, to say like what makes you able to move easier. It just seems like a little too fussy. Do we want to hit napkin, multi-tool, paperclip? Like, is this the vibe we're going for here?
Yeah, and we could put like dog treat or something so you can distract animals with it, or you can swing it to scare something off. There's that. Did you say matches as one of them?
No, that's a good one.
Matches.
Yeah, we need to set scale. We're starting to wiggle the scale a little bit here. Can one of our creatures carry a multi-tool? I don't think so. It was a fun bit we did. I don't think anybody except for the Protector can carry a multi-tool, like, logically, right? I
Parenthetical.
Yeah, like paperclip I can see. I just, like, I have a Leatherman. It weighs like a good, I think like half a pound. Hefty. Like it's quite a hefty piece of work there. Although I guess, you know what I'm not thinking of? They make those Swiss Army knives that are like this big. Like they make the really little ones. Yeah. All right. So
I think that the Swiss Army knife might be too much anyways, because you can say like it gives you so many options. It's clearly overpowered for this game. We shouldn't allow that.
It's so funny to say about a one-page RPG. Multi-tool's overpowered. We can't do it.
Yeah, it's OP.
Okay, so napkin, needle and thread.
Yeah, needle and thread definitely works. Straw. I don't know how we use it, but straw it's big, but it's very lightweight.
I like straw. Match was our other one.
Straw would be for bridging gaps. 100%. I dropped that straw and crawl across it. Yeah.
So napkin, needle and thread, match, straw.
Match, straw.
Crayon.
There's buttons.
Button for a shield, like a shield for throwing.
A shield, yeah. You block, you throw it, whatever you need to do with it.
All right. So napkin, needle and thread, match, straw, button. Paperclip.
And I like crayon from Michaels, because you can do some good stuff with a crayon.
I like crayon because it's just big enough to be annoying, but it's not so heavy that it would be a problem. Like a crayon's going to be the full length of the body of this creature, and so it is going to be like difficult to carry around, but it is super duper funny.
The art of that's very fun though too.
Napkin, needle and thread, match, straw, button, crayon. That's 6 items. If we're gonna add 1, we should add 2. Did we have any other ideas, or do we want to keep it at 6?
I think keep it at 6, and then I want to have the additional option be choose what you want. Like, come up with another item that you think matches.
Okay, plus clever and simple. I think that works for me. That sounds all good. All right, cool. What are we missing here? Now,
the next on the list.
Yeah, so the next on the list, the only item we have left, right, is we came up with this little D6 chart of what you're trying to do. Lasers and Feelings is a little bit more in depth. It has a threat, including Zorgon the Conqueror, the Hive Armada, a rogue captain, space pirates, and all that jazz. It has wants to destroy or corrupt, steal or capture, bond with, etc., etc. The space pirate king or queen, void crystals, star dreadnought, etc., etc., which will destroy a solar system, reverse time, enslave a planet, etc., etc. Nick Hop. Oh yeah. Oh no, I haven't looked at the chat in a while. Bramble said the haphazard. I assume we were talking about classes. That would be very funny. Bramble's just somebody who's just really pretty loco in that kind of rival thing. Napkins, flood insurance. Good point. Nick Hopf has just said, what about a rusty multi-tool Swiss Army knife? We were just talking about that, Nick. Can provide some versatility, yet is limited in its use, and you have to roll to see if it works or even breaks a piece of it. Food for thought. I like the idea of giving an option for an incredible piece of kit that is like bad, that is like shitty. I think is extremely funny to be like, you can take, maybe we'll add like a D4 of options that's unstable tools. These are more powerful, but profoundly unstable and liable to break.
That's hilarious.
Anytime you use them, you have a chance that they're going to snap, which I think is funny because that's what borrowers are doing, right? They're always looking for a new thing. Okay, so do we want to flush out our what are we going after list, or do we like stockpile, rescue, heist, scout, relocate, and befriend is kind of enough?
I feel like what we gave is good.
Okay.
Because for Lasers and Feelings, it's always a threat, where ours is it can be any one of these 6 things.
Which I think is good. Okay, cool. All right, so everything else is looking pretty good. So in that case, let's take a look here at the... So we have 2 options left. Number 1, we still don't really have a replacement. We pitched coming up with scenarios as kind of a replacement for creating the ship as it is on Lasers and Feelings, and then it turned out that the creating the situation is already on the Lasers and Feelings over on the other side, alas. And then we have this idea that we have 4 things that are like a little bit more breakable, or maybe 2. Which of those 2 things would we rather do next? I don't know if we'll have time for both. We only have 10 minutes. For those of you just tuning in, 1 page, 1 shot, 1 hour. We are sprinting ahead, trying to make a 1-page adventure about playing borrowers. While everybody thinks we're basing it on Lasers and Feelings. Whimsy and sternness are our central traits. Our style is you can be a borrower, a bug, a critter, or a toy. Our roles are the tinker, the protector, the sure-footed, the feral, the chatterbox, and the rookie. Our scenarios is you are trying to stockpile something, rescue someone, heist an object, scout an area, relocate somewhere new, or befriend a new group. And then our easy items are a napkin, a needle and thread, a match, a straw, a button, a crayon, or pick something clever but simple. So, next up, do we want to find somebody to replace the ship? Is that your, like, what kind of group are you, right? That's my next thought, is something that everybody has to work on together. Like, what kind of squad are you? Like, why do you all work together? And then, or we could do something like Swiss Army knife, unstable, rusty. I don't know. There's a bunch sort of in that. iPod Nano, water damaged.
I was thinking, instead of making a ship, do we want to try and make a village? Make a tiny home or something like that?
I'm just not sure how the
village only reason in. It would be for the vibes, but you would almost instantly leave the village. So I'm less prone to do that. I could see make a relationship with everybody else at the table and use these things as inspiration, where it's like, he saved me from the wilds, or this is my sibling, or, something like that. A la Monster of the Week.
Yeah, I like the history idea. My thought, if we wanted to bend the idea of making the village that you're coming from, we could make the house.
Oh, the whole
Like,
space.
where are you? Like, talk to me about where you
Mm.
are. Are you in a house? Are you in an office building? Are you in an apartment? Are you in a restaurant? Like, where are you? Are you,
It's fun.
I'm thinking like Mouse Hunt
Cool.
would
Build
essentially be in the
environments.
borrower's game, right? You're trying to get them out of the house, so I guess that would be kind of a weird angle, but that would be my
That's
next thought
fun.
is like define the space. And if you can use the space to your advantage, it gives you some other bonus, right?
All right, we have 8 minutes. I think we can rip through both. Let's start with the space. We
Okay.
need 6 options for spaces.
Yes. Okay. 6
Yeah.
options
Bare minimum.
for spaces.
I think one option, like first initial space, and then second option, like tertiary space.
I think it's got to be like traits of the space, right? Like, because my first
Yeah.
thought was like house, restaurant, office, and that's kind of boring. Like, what are you gonna do with that?
Yeah.
Like temperature, temperament. Like, are we in like my house, the Arctic?
I think that is helpful. I think that should be one of the options. I don't think that should be all of them. But so like, my first thought was run down. This is a place that is like decrepit. It's like falling apart. It's not doing very well.
Yeah.
That has benefits and negatives. It means resources are going to be scarce, but it means it's very easy to hide. I like the idea that like there is some extreme temperature element or something like that. I think is pretty good. This thought that there is something.
So we've got decrepit versus like brand new. We've got
Temperaments.
very hot to very cold, and this is on a sliding scale, kind of. So the elements. I could see populated versus non-populated. Is there like a house full of people or a restaurant with a bunch of people there, or is it an abandoned warehouse?
I'll do busy,
that's
empty. So
3.
decrepit, new, cold, hot,
Yeah.
busy, empty. What's one that's like strangers, familiar faces? Are you constant like there's constantly new people like a restaurant, and so you're dodging,
Okay.
moving between people's feet, and you don't know who anybody is, so you can't say like we need to watch out for like the kid. They are always up at 7. We need to do this. Instead, it's we have no idea who's here. We're in a hotel.
It'd be like
So it's like,
stable versus volatile
yeah,
would be
I was
my
thinking
thought.
chaos versus I don't know.
Order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like chaos order. So decrepit, new,
What's
cold,
that?
hot, busy, empty, chaos order.
Is that 4?
That's 4.
Okay.
Chaos order.
Okay, we gotta
My
get
next
2
one that I think would be
more.
fun. I don't know why you would pick it. Would be like safe, dangerous. Like, is this place
Yeah.
full of like terrible, dangerous
No,
things?
that makes sense because safe versus dangerous, like no matter what, it's going to be dangerous. But if you pick dangerous, it's because there's a family of feral cats that are there. There's wasp nests everywhere. Versus safe is like it's a family home. Like you might run into the dog or like the baby.
I like how you're kind
but it's not.
you're kind of picking your. I like that picking the house is picking the genre.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you go decrepit, hot, busy, chaos, dangerous, you are picking like you're like, what's up? We're borrowers. Where
You're
do
a
you
dune.
where do you live? We live in a drug dealer's house. It is so stressful all the time. There are bullet holes in the walls. Like there's something really fun about being
Yeah.
like it's dire here. Like we're making it happen.
Everybody picks bugs.
Yeah, everybody's bugs. That's really good. All right, so decrepit, new, cold, hot, busy, empty, chaos order, safe, dangerous. Another thing?
One more.
Another thing?
That's
One more
6.
Um,
thing? Industrial residential? And like
I
restaurant
could
would be
see
in the
that.
middle?
I think so. I think industrial residential.
All right, and then what's the other thing we wanted to do
That's
in our
it.
time?
The destructible
relationships.
item. Oh, relationships. Sorry.
Oh yeah, well,
Relationships.
so the relationships would be so that one kind of up to us how we want to do that. So in Monster of the Week, it's basically just like look around the circle, like say one thing that to the person to your left, one thing to the person to your right, or something like that, or go all the way around the circle and say something about everybody. Tends to be how that kind of shakes out. So I think that's an option that we have. We don't really have classes, so I'm not sure how many history. We could still go for like 6. We could try to get like 6 different. You said one already.
I
So let's
think
just stick to the idea. I heard that silence, that absolute soul crushing I don't know what to say first. So you already said they saved my life. I think that's great. I'll say savior. Like, right? They pulled you out of a tough spot.
Yes.
They're why you're here. You know, they sort of helped you in some way.
Mm-hmm. Do we want to frame it as 6 questions where it's like, how did you save my character? So you ask another person how they interacted with yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So how did you save?
My character's life.
Why did we get a messy divorce?
What's the last thing?
Yeah, exactly.
What's the last big thing you traded with me?
Ooh, that's fun.
So how did you save our last big trade? Number 3, I'm just gonna write. I know what I mean, and I will remember later. I'm just gonna write one last job.
Okay.
Like, what did we do before this that you're dragging me back in, you son of a bitch?
Yeah.
Right? It's like, what was the last thing that we said would be the last job, and now we have to go back out in the field? Like, what was it? I think it's a good one.
I've got a good one. Why don't I trust you? Huge.
Why no trust? Why no trust in this house? Please.
Why no trust? Why don't I trust you?
Why don't I trust you? That's a good one.
There could be, what do I owe you?
Okay. What do I owe you? So, how did you save me? What was our last big trade? What was our last job together? Why don't I trust you? What do I owe you?
Sorry, I was off on this. Where did you find me?
Oh, good.
Yeah.
You know what I just realized this is making me think of? Did you guys ever watch on Dimension 20 Tiny Heist?
No,
Only
I never
the
got to
first
see that one.
handful of episodes.
Yeah, it's I love Dimension 20. It's not their strongest season, but we are in a very similar wheelhouse. But they were playing in D&D, so who knows? Maybe we'll publish this, and maybe when they do a second season. No, I'm kidding.
Season 2.
That would be. I would say no, thank you. I would panic too much. I'd be like, please don't. I'd be like, please don't. I can't deal with this smoke at all.
We made this in 1 hour.
You guys have got to find something. Yeah, no, I don't know. All right, cool.
Yeah, if you want, hey, Dimension Swing, if you ever want to use your stuff, just contact us and let's do like 1 more hour on these.
Let's do 1 more hour.
We're
Let us
one
do
more
a
pass.
second
One
hour
more
on
pass.
it and just see how we
Yeah.
That would be the funniest email to get back ever. To just
Real
be like,
quick.
let us spend one more hour on it. They'd read that and be like, what does that mean? Like,
Yeah, 1 more session.
What?
one more hour? What?
Doubling our time investment.
Doubling our time investment. Okay, so with that, we have just made a 1-page, 1-shot, 1 hour happen. Our 1-page RPG, which we don't have a title for yet, so think about that while I give the recap. You play a group of like living in the walls creatures that need to take things from the house in order to survive. You're rolling either below your sternness or above your whimsy to try to succeed, or vice versa. Your styles are you can be a borrower, a bug, a critter, or a toy. Your roles is that you can be a tinker, a protector, a sure-footed, a feral, a chatterbox, or a rookie. You can have a napkin, a needle and thread, a match, a straw, a button, a crayon, or something else clever but simple. You can be going after a stockpile, to do a rescue, to do a heist, to scout an area, to relocate to somewhere new, or to befriend somebody. The home you can pick on a little spectrum. We'll do like left bubble, middle bubble, right bubble. Decrepit to new, cold to hot, busy to empty, chaos to order, safe to dangerous, industrial to residential. And then we have 6 history questions you ask each other. How did you save me? What was our last big trade? What was our last job together? Why can't I trust you? What do I owe you? And where did you find me? I got nothing else. Do we have any titles for our game? We're 1 minute
All right.
past.
Option number 1. Little folk.
Little folks good.
The thing I thought was like micro collecting.
Michael's playing
micro
too many
collectors.
JRPGs. You're playing too many JRPGs over there.
Sorry.
Whoa! That's a big one. Score really hopped on that one, so that's good. Little Folk I think is good. I do think The Borrowers is a trademark name, so we probably can't do that one. Although I do think that I do have a fondness for it.
There's the like hidden ones.
Oh, there's something fun in like Hidden Quest.
Yeah.
In like Discreet
Hidden Quest is
Quest,
good.
Quiet Quest. Like, there's something fun in being like, wait, a little adventure.
Yeah.
A little adventure's good.
Just a little
I
adventure.
A little adventure.
A little
was
quest.
thinking, like the little quests are the hidden ones.
Bramble's neither a borrower nor lender be. Extremely good, deeply alienating. I love it. It's the best for a
I
one
think-
page.
I think a little adventure is a lot of fun.
What are you doing? I'm going on a little adventure. What,
Wanna
just
play a little adventure tonight?
Come on.
Do a little adventure.
All right. And with that, thank you all so much for watching DM Writer's Room. We had a blast. We come up with all kinds of fun stuff on the stream, and I'm about to give you the recap of the other things we come up with. Whether you're watching on Twitch or YouTube, you can catch 3 streams here at Foolhardy Press, and they all start at 7:30 on Sundays. You can catch Game Masters, Masters of Games, where Spencer, Michael, and I try to master games that we think we need to, or play games that we feel we've already mastered. We've been playing a lot of stuff. I have no idea what we're doing next. We'll have to figure that out soon. Actually, I do remember what we did last time. We played Chain together, and we ate raw onions and did all kinds of nasty, terrible stuff to each other on that. That
How
was
can we
awful.
forget?
And then on Mondays, we have The Party Makes Things Worse, which is our actual play stream. Right now, I'm running a game called Song of the Reliquary in the system D&D that is in the world of Prospect, which we came up with live on this very stream. And then, of course, on Tuesdays, you can catch DM Writer's Room, where we demystify the DMing process by coming up with magic items, monsters, dungeons, one-page RPGs, stuff for other systems, all live. We wanted to give you that experience of trying to come up with those adventures, come up with names, look up synonyms for words, and all of the boring, mundane things that we have a lot of fun doing as a group here. Next stream, we are going to be going back to the realm of Call of Cthulhu to close out our little triumvirate adventure, our little 3-parter, with its final section. So that should be pretty good. Check us out on itch.io, where you can find the one-page RPGs that we write on this show. You can catch 2, both of which we came up with live. You can catch The Last Thanksgiving, a turkey-tinged tale of vengeance, and you can check out Resonance, a mech RPG for 3 to 6 players trying to learn to work together. And if you want the full development experience, watch the episode and then go buy the game. And you'll get a pretty good idea of like kind of what our process is and how things change. I think that's fun. And maybe at some point, a little adventure will be for sale over there. We'll have to see. You can also check us out on DriveThruRPG, where you can check out our first adventure, Lich's Dollhouse, an introductory adventure for Dungeons & Dragons for level 1 characters. It's a fun little romp through a space with a magic item, a couple of new monsters, all in a nice little bottle adventure that makes you feel like, I don't know, pretty heroic. And soon you'll be able to check the Void's Eye Observatory, which is our next adventure, which is coming up in the next few weeks. You would not believe how long Spencer has had to learn how the formatting works. And every time he shows me a new piece of it, it feels like those fantasy novels that came out in the 60s where they're like, all magic is just technology that is too advanced. Every time you show me something new, I'm like, no! Like, it fully ruins my day. Also, check us out on YouTube and TikTok, where you can find all kinds of videos and stuff that Spencer makes. We do a lot of research on those, so that's a lot of fun. We have a couple of exciting scripts coming up in the next few weeks, so that should be great. And check us out on Instagram, perhaps the stove that Spencer works over the most thanklessly stirring. So follow us on Instagram. I don't think I missed anything. Does it feel like I missed anything?
That's it.
Okay. Oh,
Good.
and every once in a while, if you keep your ear to the ground, you'll get to catch our other show, Scheduling Conflicts, which only plays when other shows are canceled. It is a rare event, but when it does pop up, they tend to be pretty fun. 0 prep one-shots, and so they are hectic, but they are a really good time. And with that, thank you all so much for tuning in. We will catch you on the next one. Peace out.
Bye.